So you guys did pretty well in this. Nobody, only one, asbestos was used for insulation. By the way, can anybody tell me what's the word when it breaks down? When asbestos breaks down, does anybody remember that word? Very good, friable, just like my, that's right, that's the way I like my donuts. All right, 29. Prevent the growth of mold, the building must be free of. Intrusion from water, correct, 29 is D. 30. Comprehensive Environmental Response Compensation Liability Act, CERCLA, for release of a hazardous substance on an owner's property is placed on the A, landowner. Unless the landowner can prove or bought a property that the seller didn't tell them. So it's the landowner, not the occupant, the landowner. Unlike employees, salespersons who are independent contractors cannot rely on their brokers for anything, baby. Oh, I went over. How did that happen? And by the way, when you're an independent contractor, don't rely on anybody for anything. Just go out and do what you're supposed to do. Don't rely on the leads. Don't rely on this. Rely on you. C is correct. Health benefits. They cannot give you health benefits. They can offer you to pay for it. Amen to that. Say hallelujah, Denise. 32, a meeting of the minds. It's said to have taken place when parties are in agreement on price, down payment, and whereas a meeting of the mimes, they don't say anything. So I want you guys to read this again. Because, Emmanuel, please don't answer in the chat, answer on the poll. Read the question again. Believe it or not, that will give you the answer. That's okay, Manuel. You just have to leave now. No, I'm just kidding. Because actually, if you read the question, you'll get the next thing in line for that list. Answer to that is B, financing. Yeah, the list goes price, down payment. It's all about money. Price, down payment, and financing. You don't have to have a closing date. okay, because that can change. Commission doesn't matter because it may not be a sale by a realtor. It matters to you, but it doesn't matter to the meeting of the minds. And earnest money has nothing to do with it either. Because we do a lot of deals now where there's no good faith deposits. And if it's a VA loan, there's no earnest money at all. 33, after receiving a commission payment, a broker must pay the salesperson's share within. Well, you guys should get this. Every realtor in the world knows this. What if it's a cash deal? Well, then that's okay. Then the financing doesn't matter, but then you have the price and then you have whatever's left. So meeting the mind just means that they've come to a money agreement is what that means. He is right, 10 days. 10 days. Now be aware, some realtors, brokers will, it's 10 days from when they deposit the check, but some brokers will hold off depositing the check until all your documents are in that they require. So be sure to have all your documents in before you close. I'm telling you, I see it because my company does it too. In acting as a fiduciary for a principal, the broker must and by the way, when you guys come back from your break, we're not doing a break yet. I'm going to show you, I have a sample of the test, of the state test that I'm going to show you and take about 2 minutes just to show you the format of the questions. They're actually very different than these as well. Not different topics, just the whole scenario type. D is correct. Principal's interest above all others. All others. Okay, your clients come first. Licensees must provide sellers, buyers, landlords, and tenants with a consumer information statement before any See, I want all of you guys to pass. I want my classes to be 100%. It'll never happen, but so I'm told though that this school, even though the passing rate in New Jersey is 31%, this school has a passing rate of state exams of 70%. So you're at a good school. And don't let any school tell you that that 99 or 90% of their students pass the state exam, because it's not true. And there's some that are out there that will do it. Oh, Rosetta, we have to talk. You can always give me a call. think you need just we should talk and I'll tell you how you can pass it. You got to pay off the, no, I'm just kidding. 30, so the answer to 34, by the way, was D. 35, the answer is C. The first time you talk about the consumer information state is when a buyer or seller tells you about their motivation or financial situation. Someone goes into your open house, a buyer says, I would never pay this for that. You've got to stop them in their tracks and say, just so you know, right now I represent the seller. However, if you want to talk about your motivation or your financial situation, I can represent you as well. Let me just explain what that means. Then you go through the consumer information statement. And not just when they walk into your open house, if they call you on the phone. Number 36, agents are expected to serve as principals with informed knowledge and skills. This is referred to their duty of, oops, I said duty. Do you guys remember COALT? So I have another acronym to recognize fiduciary responsibility, but let's talk about the answer first. So the answer to this question is A, care. You have to know what you're doing. That's the biggest thing. And if you don't know, don't make it up. Don't just wing it, because wing it means they'll sue you. Obedience just means when someone asks you to do something, you do it as long as it's legal and moral. Accounting really has to do with what you do with their money, make and accountable to everything, their monies, and also to the timeline. And loyalty is really confidentiality and loyalty, that you're loyal to this person. Another way to remember this is known as old car. The acronym old car: obedience, loyalty, disclosure, confidentiality, accounting, reasonable care and diligence. Got that? Obedience, loyalty, disclosure, confidentiality, accounting or accountability, reasonable care and diligence. Yeah, it is like COALD. Good thing it's not like COVID. COVID. Confidentiality, obedience, validity, indiscretion, and disclosure. All right, now 37. New Jersey license law forbids an agent to represent both the seller and the buyer, except with written consent of. It's a good one, both parties. Very good. Remember, it's written consent. So when you go take a listing, make sure you get consent to dual agency signed by the seller. Then, not when you show someone. And then when you start showing houses in your own office, listed by your own office, you got to get the consent as well. So sometimes it's good to get that stuff before you actually show houses or when you take a listing. 38. A real estate broker noticed that none of the electrical outlets in the bedroom of the house he was showing worked. The fact of this electrical problem is referred to as no, Michelle. Yes, Michelle. They're both. They're not exact questions of the school exam. The questions on the school exam and the state exam are going to be more scenario type. They're going to be a lot more. They're going to be more word problems. Not that they're math word problems, but they're going to be word problems. Although the school exam being more like this test, state exams will be more, again, scenario type. I guess the hardest part of the test is the essays. All right, so 38 is it's material information. If you know it, you got to disclose it. I'm waiting for it. I was waiting for someone to ask me. Owen did. Just kidding. Gotcha. There's no essays. It takes like a question and a half before someone says, did he just freaking say essays? I don't know how to write. All right. 39. Megan's loss statement. You're welcome. Megan's loss statement on real estate contracts and leases advises purchasers and lessees that so Trinidad, I'm not in any page. This is a test that I have just for this class. It's a review class. So there is no page. The answer to 39 is C. County prosecutor, you cannot, even if you know it, you cannot mention anything about a child molester in the neighborhood that's been arrested and is on the Megan's Law list. You cannot. You can't even infer it. Got it? You cannot. Even if you're showing a house next door to a family that has little kids, you cannot. All right, there's no chapter the review's on. It's a summary after each chapter. Number 40, when answering questions about a property, good strategy for avoiding misrepresentation. Yes, this is a sample full test, which I don't give out. So hopefully some of you were taking, pictures of it. When answering questions about a property, good strategy for avoiding misrepresentation is to 39 was C. Jennifer McMahon. Good. Okay, the answer to 40 is B. Refer questions to an expert source. Don't ask the seller. The seller may not know. Don't rely on your experiences of other properties because it may not be right. And consult with other licensees within the agency. Don't do that either. There was a company. This is interesting, and they were actually stopped from doing it. And their color is yellow. And what they were doing is that when there was home inspections on properties for their buyers agents, they would then post the home inspection report with their company to let everybody know in the company what the home inspection was, which was against the law because unless the buyer allowed that company to post it. Got to remember that whoever pays for that home inspection owns it. They can't just allow people to have it. The other thing too with this whole thing with misrepresentation is because something looks right doesn't mean it's right. Just because the toilet flushes, it doesn't mean that the septic is working. Because most septics fail tests. But once you find out that something has happened or there's something that's wrong, like a failed septic or an underground oil tank, then you must disclose it to everybody. Or if the radon count was high, whatever it is, it must be disclosed. Got that? So you can't hide it. All right, number 41. Inducing homeowners to sell by telling them that minority persons are moving to their neighborhood is referred to as And sometimes they videotape this. That's a hint. Blockbusting. It is blockbusting. It's not redlining. Remember, redlining only has to do with insurance and financing, where the banks would put up a map, put a red line around the area where they're going to charge higher rates or not give financing at all. And it's not steering. Steering is when you take out a buyer, you take that buyer to a neighborhood you think that they should be in because they are who they are. You never assume that. Blockbusting is happening right now in lots of areas. It's happening in Mahwah. It's happening in Lakewood. It's happening in um, and there's so and they're going door to door saying you better sell because because these people are moving in and they're getting away with it. No, experts meaning like if you think it's yes, or so you know that. Experts meaning like an asbestos expert, someone who can actually test the asbestos, or when it comes to anything like that, a licensed professional, exactly. And by the way, home inspectors aren't experts on everything. If they don't know something, they'll refer you to a electrical engineer, maybe. They may refer you to a structural engineer. Um, they might have someone that does tank scans, pest control, and things like that. 42. Which of the following is not a reason for termination of a listing? We're going through this pretty fast, guys. You're so smart. Am I reading? Am I going too fast? Let me know. Hear about the guy who went to a psychiatrist and he said to a psychiatrist, you know, doctor, sometimes I feel like a TP and sometimes I feel like a wigwam. And his doctor says, I know your problem. You're too tense. Anyway, 42 is I do night classes for brokers. Oh, you got that. Thank you. Somebody got that. Thank you. All right, number 42 is D. The owner discloses the presence of asbestos. There's no reason. The other ones they are. Fire destroys the house, listing ends. Broker declares bankruptcy, the listing ends. Because the broker can't service a seller if they go bankrupt. And if the broker and owner cancel, that's okay. But remember, your broker owns your listings. So you can't cancel a listing without your broker signing off on it. That's why it's important you get your broker involved with your listings or your broker manager. All right, number 43. When talking with the broker about a listing his home for sale, Frank Jackson made it clear that he did not want to have his house shown to people who would change the neighborhood. What must that broker do? I hope nobody on this call is Frank Jackson. Anybody here named Frank Jackson? Telegram for Frank Jackson. Candygram for Mongo. All right, number 43 is A. Refuse the listing. Whether you explain to Frank or not that discrimination is illegal, it doesn't mean that he's not going to discriminate. 42 was D. 42 is D, Lee. D, Lee. All right, number 44. Mongo loves candy. That's the funniest movie ever made, by the way. Except for maybe Young Frankenstein was good too. Blazing Saddles. Great movie. They could never make that movie today, by the way. 44. What are the 4 essential elements of a valid contract? Caddyshack? Yeah, that was okay. "43 is A. I'm actually posting these in the chat, so look in the chat too. 43 is A. Thank you, Agnieszka. Agnieszka. I hope I pronounced that right. Stripes, good movie. John Candy in the mud pit was very funny. And Harold Ramos was in that. It's till 10, Karen. You're stuck with me till 10. But remember, you don't have to be here till 10. But you're going to miss the fireworks at 10. Anyway, number 44 is B. Competent parties offer an acceptance, consideration, and legality of the object. The ones with warranty has to do with deeds. It doesn't have to do with actual essential elements of a valid contract. Number 45, a comparative market analysis offered by a broker or salesperson must never, ever Oh, now I can see you. Answer to 45 is B. Ever be called a free appraisal because you're not, unless you're an appraiser. But an appraiser charges. It can be offered for free. It should include information on nearby properties that fail to sell. So anyway, so when you're doing a CMA, you need to include solds, under contracts, unsolds, or some people call them actives. I like using unsolds, and expireds. Those are you definitely need to use those 4. And I always put, when I'm doing a CMA, I always put solds first. Because you want to base your price on the solds, not on the unsolds. All right, Latonia. Your CMA should include solds, under contracts, unsolds, or known as actives. But unsolds sound better because unsolds mean they've been unsuccessful. And expireds. Why do you put in expireds? Because those are the houses that couldn't sell as well either, so they were unsuccessfully sold. Because that'll pin them down to what they should price their house at. Because 2 most important things an agent's job is to do is to price it right and get it staged so it looks the price. No, Amali, I do them first Tuesday of every month. Matter of fact, last month I completely forgot about it. And about 30 minutes beforehand, Noelle says, "You ready to do your class tonight?" I said, "What class?" That was horrible. Anyway, 46. Did I answer that, by the way? Yeah. 46. How many years are allowed in New Jersey for parties to contract to bring a legal suit to recover real property? Remember, from the statute of limitations. So I'm going to tell you what the test is going to ask, which is contrary to what the book tells you and what the law says. So I just want to pull it out for you. 171. I think you need to hear this. I just want to I'd rather read it to you than just. Okay, so answer in the answer key is B, but the real answer is D, 10. Because here, let me read you the statute of limitations, so I think you need to hear this. New Jersey allows a specific time limit of 6 years during which parties may contract or parties to a contract may bring legal suit to enforce their rights. Any party who does not take steps to enforce his or her rights within a statute of limitations may lose those rights. The 6-year period applies to contracts, foreclosures, mortgages, and cases of fraud. Lawsuits to recover real property have a 10-year statute of limitations in New Jersey. So the correct answer is actually 10. So I cannot tell you what the state test is going to be because I haven't seen the state test. $47. New Jersey brokers are allowed to complete standard approved sales contracts for 1 to 4 family homes, residents, and vacant lots, and 2. I know you were told that. I think that's what the test says, but the book tells me 10. Look on page 1. If you look on page, in edition 14, Caroline, page 171. When you get a chance. All right, 47, in New Jersey, brokers are allowed to complete standard approved sales contracts to 1 to 4 family homes, residents, and vacant lots, and 2. You guys did pretty well in this. The answer's C. You can do residential leases. You cannot do commercial leases. You cannot draft promissory notes, nor can you do complete tax reports. Leases for all commercial real estate is done by an attorney. The only thing you do for commercial real estate is known as a letter of intent. You also cannot sell a multi-parcel lot. You could sell a single parcel lot, but not a multi-parcel lot. Also, you cannot do a contract for a property that's 5 families or above either. All that goes through an attorney. Whereas the other one has that 3-day attorney review. You remember that? Okay, number 48. Uh-oh. Number 48. New Jersey requires the specific language to appear in exact form at the top of the first page of the sales contract that alerts signers that A, contract is legally binding. Now, some of you answered B, but that is actually the cover page of a contract, but it's not the first page of contract. Remember, notice the buyer and seller? That just alerts the buyers that they should get an attorney. It represents who you represent. And it also says that although it's not required in the state of New Jersey, it's recommended, and that you cannot give legal advice, but that's not the first page of the contract. All right, number 49. And by the way, remember the first page I showed you? The largest portion of the test is on contracts. Contract law is big part of the 17% of the test is on contracts. So you guys need, don't worry, Caroline, is soon. You guys need to review chapters 10 and 11, especially the contract chapter. 49. The buyer of residential property constructed before 1978 must be offered in the sales contract a 10-day opportunity to examine the property for. It should have been driven in your head. Jenna, 10% of the 11% of the exam has math in it. So the chapters you need to really base yourself on is 1, 2, 3, 11. Let's see which one the contracts are on first. Hold on, because I don't want to screw up on you guys. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, and 11 are biggies. Biggies. We'll be doing some of these problems will be math problems. We'll get to that. And 21. 1, 2, 3, 11, and 21. All right, 49 is A, lead-based paint. 50. In contract negotiations, an offer is not considered accepted until a person making the offer What about chapter 10? You mentioned that's pretty big too. That's on chapter 11 is big because it's contracts. Chapter 10 is on listings. So that's part of contracts. So yeah, you should definitely do that one too. So 1, 2, 3, 10, 11, 21. And you should definitely do the math one. It's a good review. Plus inside the cover of the front and the back has really simple math. Math calculations. All right, 50 is C. Been notified of the other party's acceptance. And the offer means nothing. Provides earnest money means nothing because you don't need earnest deposit monies anymore. And receives written confirmation of acceptance. No, it just means that one person has notified the other. 49 was A. 51. Special contingency clauses provides that the contract may be voided if the property appraises below the sales price must be part of the contracts for. Answer to 51 is B. Do you remember the certificate of reasonable value for VA loans, the CRV? And then the mandatory clause that's added to an FHA loan, which states that if the home does not appraise, the buyer does not have to buy. Remember, it's the CRV, then the mandatory clause. And mandatory clause, 1 second, let me just, give me 1 second because I think you need to see this. Mandatory clause for FHA. Okay, got it? 52. Earnest money from the purchaser must be kept in special account, must not be commingled. B is correct. Mixed with the broker's own funds. And brokers do it. So therefore, and that's not good, but they do it. They thinking they can make up for it. $53. The amount of money that will serve as compensation if one party to a contract does not live up to the contract is called answer C, liquidated damages, not encroachment. Encroachment is when someone's shed goes on your property. Earnest money is just a good faith deposit that people sometimes put towards the purchase of a home. And novation is just a substitution of one contract for another. So it's liquidated damages, as opposed to when the seller or the buyer sues the other person for specific performance, meaning forcing them to sell. Liquidated damages means they don't have to sell, but there's going to be money that's changed hands for that, for their troubles. 54. When home purchasers apply for mortgage loans, the right of rescission, the right of rescission Where did that go? I'll come back to it. No, my camera's not off. I'm here. Can you see me? They say I have a face for radio. My classes are 9 to 3. I have a face for radio? Wow, that's thanks. Thanks a lot. 54, answer, most of you got this wrong, actually. I'm sorry to say. But 54 is A. When you take out a mortgage for your home, you cannot rescind it. It's the other loans that you can rescind. Car loans, things like that. Equity loans, you can do that too. 55. Bank contracts are means of. You guys are real mixed on this one. Answer seller financing. Do you remember what land contracts are? This is when a buyer takes over the land, pays for everything that is associated to that land, taxes and so forth, and then the seller takes back the loan. When the buyer pays it off, that's when the seller then conveys the deed and the title to the buyer. So then the buyer becomes the owner. Got that? All right. So sorry, but I missed the answers to 1 to 14. Oy. Where have you been? All right, so we finished the first half. Pass rate for the state exam is 31%. For this school, it's nearly 70%. That's for this school, meaning not the school's test, but the state test. This school is shown to be 70% passing rate, but the actual state test is 31% passing rate. So what percentage do you want to be in? Right? Okay. So someone said they wanted the answer. So go take a break. Enjoy your coffee, and thanks so much for getting this coffee to us. Whoever got, I forget who it was that this supposed to buy us coffee. 70% is needed to pass, correct? Which means 77 questions have to be answered correctly. Which means it gives you have to get 33 wrong in order to fail. 33 is a lot to get wrong. All right, so I want you guys. It's a 15. I'll give you. Come back at 8. How much? I give you 8:10. I'll give you 20 minutes. All right. We have a lot to cover. We have another half of the test to cover. Here are the answers to the first 14. I'm just going to put them in order. Just I'm not putting one. Is this okay? You ready? C, B, D, A. That's 1 through 14. I'm getting it for you. 27C, Manuel. Sorry, I pronounced it wrong. Hear that, Manuel C? Okay, the school offers test cram that includes PowerPoint study guide for purchase. Is helpful for studying. I want to know if it's worth purchasing it. I do not know. I never saw it, Latonia, so I can't help you. But what I can tell you is that the school wants you to pass. It makes them look better. So they're going to do whatever they can without giving you the answers to help you pass. You're welcome, Florencia. Well, where were you, Manuel? You saw the first 14, right? So I'm not going to redo those because I just don't feel like it. And I would like to get a cup of coffee too. So it's A, B, 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 A, B, C, A, B, E, C, C. Got it? I don't think so, Rita. You're welcome. Oh, that's right. No, this test is imprintable. Sorry, Greg. Oh, I want this one. Okay. So I'm not looking at the questions. I'm doing something else. Sorry, I can get back to you in a bit. Where is it? Just okay. Where can we find chapter quiz questions? At the end of each chapter. I closed it? I didn't close it. Look up in the chat. Oh, good. I'm glad, Lauren. I really want to get a cup of coffee. Where can we find chat? Okay. Anybody else have any questions? All right, I'm going to get coffee. I'll be back. Chapter quiz answers are in the back of the book. I really need coffee. I'll be back.
Looked at you and suddenly something in your eyes I see soon begins bewitching me. It's that old devil moon that you stole from the sky. It's that old devil moon deep in your eyes. You and your glance makes this romance too hot to handle. Stars in the night, blazing in light, can't hold a candle to your eyes, dazzle. You got me flying high and wide on a magic carpet ride, full of butterflies inside. Yes, I wanna cry, wanna croon, I wanna laugh like a loon. It's that old devil moon deep in your eyes. Just when I think I'm free as a dove, oh devil moon deep in your eyes blinds me with love. To your razzle you got me flying high and wide on a magic carpet ride, full of butterflies inside. Yes, I wanna cry, wanna croon, I wanna laugh like a loon. It's that old devil moon deep in your eyes. Just when I think I'm free as a dove, oh devil moon deep in your eyes blinds me with love. Oh, now early this morning, my baby made me song. Yes, it was early this morning, my baby made me song. She said, I'm leaving you, Papa, I don't need you anymore. I said, tell me, pretty mama, where did you sleep last night? Tell me, pretty mama, where did you sleep last night? She said, none of your business, baby, if I do you right. I said, I love you, mama. Yeah, that ain't no lie. Yeah, I love you, pretty mama. Well, that ain't no lie. And the day that you quit me, mama, that's the day you die. Just because you see me sleeping, God, don't you think I'm drunk? Or just because you see me sleeping, well, don't you think I'm drunk? Hey, I got one eye on my pistol, the other on your trunk. Yeah. Starts on this one. When the rain came, I thought you'd leave, 'cause I knew how much you loved the sun. But you chose to stay and keep me warm through the coldest winter I've ever known. If the mandolin wind couldn't change a thing, and I know I love. For the snow fell without a break. Buffalo died in the frozen fields, you know. Through the coldest winter in almost 14 years. I couldn't believe you kept a smile. Now I can rest assured, knowing that you seen the worst, and I know I love. Oh, I never was good with romantic words, so the next few lines come really hard. Don't have much, but what I've got is yours. Except, of course, my steel guitar, 'cause I know you don't play, but I'll teach you one thing, because I love. talk too much. Hey, you over there, I know about your kind. You're like the independent network news on Channel 9. Everywhere that you go, no matter where you are at, I said you talk about this and you talk about that. When the cat took your tongue, I say you took it right back. Your mouth is so big, one bite can kill a Big Mac. You talk too much. You never shut up. I said you talk too much. Oh boy, you never shut up. You talk about people you don't even know. And you talk about places you never go. You talk about your girl from head to toe. I said your mouth moving fast and your brain's moving slow. You talk too much. You never shut up. I said you talk too much. Oh boy, you never shut up. You're the instigator, the orator of town. You're the worst when you converse, just a big mouth clown. You talk when you're awake. I heard you talk when you sleep. Has anyone ever told you that talk is cheap? You talk too much. You never shut up. I said you talk too much. Oh boy, you never shut up. Talking is the one thing that you can do best. You told the cavity creeps to watch out for crest. You never have the story right and exact, and then you always try to bore me with your yakety yak. You talk too much, and then you never shut up. I said you talk too much. Oh boy, you never shut up. Every day you are out fighting someone in the street. And you're always fighting someone you know you can't beat. Then you wonder how you got this mad. Just think of what you said, then take a guess. You talk too much. You never shut up. I said you talk too much. Oh boy, you never shut up. You're always spreading rumors, whether bad or good. You're the damn Walter Cronkite of the neighborhood. The Barbara Walter and the Howard Coke down. You always come around with the story tell. You talk too much, and then you never shut up. I said you talk too much. Oh boy, you never shut up. Everybody thinks that you love to buy. And talking to you is like dropping a dime. You're spreading the word like it is your job. You should be a stool pigeon who works for the mob. You talk too much, but you never shut up. I said you talk too much. Oh boy, you never shut up. A big blabber mouth. That's what you are. If you want to talk show, you be a star. I said your mouth is big, not extra large. And when you open it, it's like my garage. You talk too much, and then you never shut up. I said you talk too much. Oh boy, you never shut up. You always like to gossip, just like a girl. You talk so damn much, it's out of this world. When you're reincarnated in your second life, you won't be a man.
You'll be a nagging wife.
You talk too much, then you never shut up. He said you talk too much. Oh boy, you never shut up. Shut up. Shut up. 25 hours, 8 days a week, 13 months out of a year is when you speak. I'm tired of listening to the garbage talk. Why don't you find a short hair to take a long walk? You talk.
He does know his words, Tyra.
I said you talk too much.
So I miss anything exciting?
You talk too much. You should be out of breath. You talk too much.
This is what most agents do.
You talk too much. Tired of hearing you speak. You talk too much.
Perfect timing, huh? So I use that. I use that when I'm training agents. And there's a book that I read, which is really good. Let me go get it. 1 second. I'm still here. So this is a book that's pretty good by Michael Staver. The book is Do You Know How to Shut Up? Agents talk way too much. Agents can kill their own transactions. Hi. Agents talk way too much. Talk too much. They actually kill their own deals. They think they're helping when they're hurting. And people don't want to hear that much from you. Instead, listen to your clients and don't talk at them. Got it? Here's another book I really like too. And it has the word shut up in it. It's Shut Up, Stop Whining, and Get a Life by Larry Winget. It has nothing to do with shutting up. It's talking about more about whining and understanding that you're going to make yourself successful. It's not going to be your broker. Yeah, that's right. You Inc. was great. Good. So this is a good book. This actually helped me when things were kind of low in business. And I realized that the problem wasn't my manager or the company I worked for. The problem was me. One of the best lines in this book says, if your life sucks, it's because you suck. Don't blame anyone else. So you can either make it or break it with this business. Same thing with taking the test. You could whine about how hard it is or all the material, or you should just dig in and say, okay, this is what I'm going to do. So you got a choice. So I'm going to show you. So on the screen, I put my phone number, my contact information. So if you good, own it. Very good, Stephen. Own it. Yeah, so who said the pit bull of Larry Winget's great? Yep, I think Larry, you got to see some of his YouTube videos. Awesome. Sure. Can you see it? Shut up. Stop whining. Get a life. Watch his YouTube videos. You know, he's not one of those gurus that have big teeth and make you walk on hot coals. He just tells it like it is. That's all I have to say. All right, so are you all back? Are you ready? Did you have coffee? How are the donuts that were sent to you? Did you get that coffee and donuts that we were supposed to get? Yep, good. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen with you. You never got them, Tiffany? Did you place your order? Well, if you don't place your order, you ain't going to get them. Pretty simple. All right, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you what some of the questions on the real test look like. So give me a second because I have to share the screen with you. Okay? So just give me 1 second. Now, when I share a screen, I cannot see your chats at all. It completely takes away this screen that I have now. So I'm not going to. I don't know what you're writing. So save it when I say I'm coming back. So 1 second. Let me share my screen. Dun, 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 dun. Share. Hope I can find it. I think this is it. 1 second. So this is what the practice test looks like. These are what the questions look like. Now, the answers are in blue are not particularly the right answers. This was given to me by one of the students I tutored. He said, "Look what I got for you." Wow, this was really good. So these are actual questions from the test. So I'm not going to go through all of them. I just want to show you the format. So you look at number 1. The purchase and sales agreement provides for release of the earnest money to the seller after the buyer's property inspection. The seller requests the earnest money prior to the property inspection. The broker should. It's not like, well, if this did that, what did that? So you got to look at what the question is asking. The question is asking, what can the broker do with monies if one of the parties requests those monies to be released? So the answer actually is right on here. It says refuse to release the earnest money, because you have to have an agreement by both parties to allow it. So you look at number 2. A home is sold for $400,000. It is appraised for $402,000. The assessed value was $320,000. In this jurisdiction, the real estate transfer tax of 1% is paid by the grantee. How much will the seller owe at the closing for the transfer fees? So you see all these numbers, and you see this scenario, but you're not reading the question. The question is, how much does the seller owe at the closing of the transfer fee? But who's paying the transfer fee? It's being paid by the grantee. The seller's not the grantee. The seller's the grantor. So therefore, the transfer fee is 0 paid by the seller. So you see how these these questions are? They throw a lot of stuff, but you got to get to the heart of the question and read the question slowly. Understand the difference between E's and Or's, right? You know that. So let's look at a couple other questions. And I'm not going to go belabor too much on this. Here, in order to collect a commission, which of the following is required for a broker with an open listing? You guys remember open listings and so forth? So let's go for it. The buyer asks if there are sex offenders in the neighborhood. The agent's most appropriate response would be, give them the website, or go to the local police department is the best one. General property taxes. Here's one, number 8. A candidate successfully completes the real estate salesperson pre-licensure course on August 27th and passes the state licensing exam on December 9th. The candidate must apply for a license no later than. The answer is correct. C. August 27th of the following year. Remember, when you complete your course, you have 1 year to get your license. If it's a year and a day, you don't get it. But you see how all those dates are mumbled and jumbled there? So the question is, when can they get their license? What's the latest time? So you gotta read the questions. Let's go to another one. Okay, number 13. In a jurisdiction where the common law of agency governs real estate activities, a broker has entered into a single agency relationship with the buyer. He has put together a list of properties to show that provide the maximum commission to the broker. But not all these properties have what the buyer wants. In this case, the broker has violated the fiduciary duty of loyalty. Answer C. So you see how these go? These are, let's go to another one. Be aware when you look at questions. Understand that it's either, could be a negative, a double negative, everything except, or which is not included, like this one. Which of the following is not an example of a fixture? Answer is D. Right? The answer is D. Chandelier is a fixture because it's a light fixture. Hot water heater is a fixture because it's attached to the house. Heirloom rosebush is a fixture because it's part of the land. It's not an implement, It's a fixture. But a cast iron garden bench, even though it's really heavy, is personal property. Here's one. This is a really hard one. Which of the following groups is not protected by the federal fair housing laws? And the answer is correct. It's D. It's homosexuals are not covered by the federal fair housing laws. It is covered by the New Jersey laws against discrimination, though. Here's a tough question. A private integrated club refused to rent one of its condos to a minority family. The club explained that it did not rent the condos to public since condos were for members only. Is the club in violation of the Federal Fair Housing Act? And if so, how? The answer is correct there. It's D. No. A private club may restrict the rental of its own lodgings to its members as long as the lodgings are not operated commercially. See what I mean? You have to read these questions. It's another good one that I wanted to show. A buyer and seller has signed a contract for the sale of a commercial property which contains no instructions on what the broker, as escrow agent, is to do with the escrow monies in the event of the default of the buyer. Prior to closing, the buyer decides not to proceed with any deposit monies that the broker is holding in escrow on the transaction is maintained until the matter is resolved. So you see how these questions are? All right, so I'm going to get out of this. But read the questions. The questions that we're doing in these tests are basic information. So they're actually trying to put a class together in our school to teach you how to read questions correctly. All right, I'm going to get out of here. Remember, I didn't see any of your questions because of the fact that I'm back. Yep, double negative example, please. I really can't, Caroline, because I got to come up with some kind of a question, but you'll see that. So double negative sometimes means it's a positive. And there might be some in the next half of this. So let's go through the next 55 questions, all right? All right, so let me pull it up. Tests and surveys. Lifetime test review. 56 through 110. Okay, you guys ready? All right. A business has signed a lease on a property for 24 months. This type of lease is referred to as So the answer to 56 is A, estate for years, because there's a beginning and there's an end. Remember, the lease sign is for 24 months. That means that estate for years means that there's a termination date. Periodic estate would be related more to a month to month. So what threw you off on this question was that it doesn't say a one-year lease. It doesn't say it ends on December 31st. It just said that it was a lease for 24 months. So you have to understand that. Remember tenancy at will? Tenancy at wills is a lease that ends on an occurrence or a non-occurrence with a 3-month notice. And a tenancy at sufferance means that there's a holdover tenant in which the tenant stopped paying the rent. So who's suffering? The landlord. 57. In New Jersey, a lease prepared by licensee must indicate. Oh, what's your question, Owen? Sorry, I just saw that. At least you asked to ask the question. Oh, this is a long question. You're going to make me read? If I'm a broker in New Jersey and want to get my license somewhere else, am I still a broker in that other state, or would I have to be a salesperson? Every state's different. Some states will let you become a broker. Some will want you to take your sales test first. Some will reciprocate, some won't. So you really have to look at the states that you're looking in. Some states will just, if you have your license in one place, you just have to take the test in that state. So it's really state regulated, like New York and New Jersey. So in New Jersey, to get your New York license, you just have to take the test. In New Jersey, you possibly can avoid taking the education if you get an education waiver. But it's good to have both New York and New Jersey licenses, especially if you work on the border. All right, so 57. The answer is C. The business relationship the firm has with respect to the parties named in the lease. Nothing to do with fair housing. And fair housing is only in the listing portion, not on the lease portion. And fees the firm will earn arranging the lease, that's not imperative. The best answer is C. Are you the tenant's agent, landlord's agent, or both, or transactional? All right, number 58. If a tenant makes improvements to a property, the improvements, say Trinidad, you need to retype that, sorry. You mushed some words together. I mean, where are these questions? I only have them. I'm the keeper of the questions. We only say, this is actually from, these are actually questions that are probably in the book that you have. They're just worded differently. The Dearborn has they've made 5 tests from the book. 2 they put in the book and 2 they leave for instructors to give them as practice. To piggyback off that, can I? You can. You can, but you're going to have to take classes in both. I would get mine in one state first and then go for the next state so that maybe you can avoid having to go to the schooling. But you can do it at the same time. All right, 58. If a tenant makes improvements to a property, it becomes fixtures. It's B. It doesn't violate the lease. It becomes a fixture, unless it's a trade fixture, which is then personal property and can be removed as long as it's removed before they leave. 59. Constructive eviction refers to an action taken by when this COVID-19 thing finally subsides, there are going to be so many evictions. It's going to be ridiculous, and foreclosures. Because of COVID, There's been no court proceedings for evictions. There are currently 17,000 evictions that are being sought for court action but cannot be. 17,000. It's sad. I don't disagree with you. It's sad for the tenants and it's sad for the landlords. So the market's going to be completely different when this change is over. Correct. You can't do a lockout anyway. You're right. No court will grant a lockout. So what do you do as an agent? Do you take advantage of this, or do you basically go out and help people? You go out and help people. But it's not only just rentals, it's also foreclosures. They aren't foreclosing on people. So the next market's going to be a buyer's market. I know it's a seller's market now, but it's going to be a buyer's market. Because once we go back to sort of normal, and these people that were furloughed don't get their jobs back, horrible enough, they're going to start losing their homes. And what are you going to see? You're going to see you're going to see more investors buying homes than actually users buying homes. And what you're also going to see is you're going to see hedge fund companies buying blocks of homes and renting them back to the people who live there. Yeah, probably. Forbearances will end soon too. Although it may not, the new administration may extend it. Who knows? I don't know. Nobody knows. All I know is keep an eye on what's going on, because the real estate market is affected by everything, and the real estate market affects everything. It's not the stock market, it's the real estate market, because the real estate market drives all other economies. When people are buying or they're improving, guess who's benefiting from it? Home Depot, the Lowe's, the people that are there's now a shortage on lumber. There's always something. The Barons of Greed. Agreed. You should write a book or do a movie. Okay, so anyway, constructive eviction refers to an action taken by the tenants, not the landlords. Constructive eviction is when tenants can stop paying their rent or leave because their home is inhabitable. Like the heat's not. I'm back. I'm back in the. Okay, where were we? So remember constructive eviction? So can anybody tell me what the minimum temperature a landlord can keep a apartment between in the daytime and then in the nighttime? Man, is that for day or night? No, 55. What are you kidding, Mark? No, it's not. It's 68 during the day, right, Rita? And at night, 65 at night. Correct. Between October 1st and May 1st. Remember that. 72 is hot, Rita. Rita's hot. 60. The two main documents in a mortgage are the mortgage and the note. The note is $90. Yes, Rita's a 90. 59 is C, tenants. I love coffee. I drink coffee all the time. I really like coffee. I can't stop drinking coffee. I don't know why, but coffee really gets me going. Coffee can keep me awake all night. Not really, but I like to have coffee. I drink about 3, 4, 5, 6 cups a day. What about you? Do you guys drink a lot of coffee? I drink a lot of coffee. What do you think? Dun, 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 dun. I think I will be up all night tonight. I really don't want to be. I do way too much. Coffee runs through my veins. Coffee just makes me run. Anyway, 6 per day, a meal, you're going to like explode one day. Your brain's going to explode. All right, so 60 is C. It's a financing instrument. It is not a disclosure statement. A note is the money. Remember, there's two parts to a mortgage. The mortgage is what? The note says what you have to pay, and then you promise to repay it. And the mortgage states that if you don't repay it, they can take your property. Yep, mortgage is a security. I don't know what Jaja is, Paulina, but it sounds like you may have gotten that from Jamaica. 61, the acceleration clause in the mortgage. Wait, what, Caroline? Caroline, how's your sister Elizabeth? It's finance. 60 is C. It's a financing instrument. Oh, okay. Thank you, Vivi. I didn't realize that. Do you? Is it the Elizabeth Hurley? Or is it more like Bobby Hurley? Yep, no. Okay. All right. 61 is D. It assists the lender if the borrower defaults. It accelerates the mortgage company's ability to require the loan to be paid off in full. It accelerates it. Anybody remember what a defeasance clause is? And when a defeasance clause is used? Yep, you defeated the mortgage, right, Chris? Which means that you paid it off and the bank has no claim to your property anymore. And you have a big, I remember when my in-laws paid off their mortgage, they actually had a mortgage burning party. We're all related, by the way. What's that called? 6 degrees of separation. Come on, guys, 62. Alternative to foreclosure is a mortgage lender to accept. It's also known as a friendly foreclosure. And actually, if you look at the answers, the answer tells you right there. Look at the answers. You guys that answered B, C, or D. Answer's A. Deed in lieu of foreclosure. The question was an alternative to foreclosure. So why wouldn't you answer a deed in lieu of foreclosure? In lieu of foreclosure. It's not a lis pendens. A lis pendens is just notice that there's a possible foreclosure. An estoppel certificate is used when a mortgage company sells your mortgage to a secondary mortgage company. And the estoppel certificate is the certificate you receive letting you know that your mortgage has been sold, what the rate is, and what the balance is. Right, Kim. And a reduction certificate is used when someone assumes a mortgage. The reduction certificate basically states that this is what your mortgage is going to be, assuming from this other person. Don't mix that up with an estoppel certificate, though. All right, there's 63. In a fully amortized mortgage loan, regular payments are applied first to remember this by the curve in the diagram in the mortgage section. Sorry, in the mortgage paragraph. Reduction certificate is one in which when someone assumes a mortgage, the person assuming a mortgage receive a reduction certificate, which basically states what their loan amount is and what rate they're paying. All right, now, so number 63 is B, interest owed. Interest is always paid first. Just think about a loan. Who wants their money first? The banks want their money first. Their money isn't the money that you ask for. Their money is the interest, what you're paying for that loan. Of course, the bank wants their money first. They're in the money business. 64, by definition, an estate for years. Actually, no, I'm Vivian, I'm 63. But 62 is A, deed in lieu of foreclosure. All right, someone has a question. So isn't there a way to tell them you would like to apply for? No, what you can do is if you pay an extra payment. So say, for instance, you're paying $1,000 a month. All right, and most of that is interest up front. But now you want to start paying per month an extra 100, which that 100 goes just to principal. You can do that, which will reduce your mortgage. If you do 100 could reduce by 6, 7, 8 years sometimes. All right, so 64 is B for a fixed term. A date for years is, as you know, is a lease with a beginning date and a termination date. It doesn't mean it lasts for a year or years. even though, as the name states it, it means that there's a beginning date and a termination date. The main type of mortgage loans that shift the interest risk from a lender to the borrower is answer is C. Adjustable rate mortgage is an ARM. Your mortgage may cost you an arm and a leg, but they call it an ARM. Adjustable rate mortgage. It's not a conventional mortgage. Conventional mortgage, the risk is actually on the mortgagee. And a biweekly mortgage, remember what that is. Instead of paying your mortgage once a month, you pay it every 2 weeks, which means you end up paying 13 months of mortgage for the year versus 12 months. Because you're paying every 2 weeks, which is 26 times, which covers 52 weeks. 66 in a mortgage lending, points are a form of and then for extra credit, if I have a mortgage of $250,000, if I buy a house for $300,000 and I put $50,000 down and I'm paying 2 points, how much am I paying for points? Very good, Caroline. You probably got that answer from Elizabeth. Good, Jacqueline. 2% 250. That's correct. Very good, guys. Okay. This might be the smartest class I've ever had a review with. Probably the best looking class, too. Are we able to return to questions? Yes, you can. But Tyra, you just have to remember to go back. No. Oh, and 1 point is 1%. 1 point is 1% of the mortgage. Of the mortgage, though. Remember that, Owens. 1 point of the mortgage, not of the purchase price. Answer to 66 is C, the prepaid interest. They also call them discount points. So when you pay points, your mortgage rate is lowered, not by a full point. Usually it's only by a quarter point, because that point represents interest for the entire length of the mortgage. 67. The term used to describe mortgage loans that are arranged entirely between the borrower and the lending institution is get rid of this thing. All right, so I need you guys not just to read the question, but to read the answers. Relate the answer to the question. How's my hair look today? Maybe I have to put it a different way because you reverted to the wrong answer, some of you, from the right answer. Thank you, Jacqueline. I knew somebody would like it. The term used to describe a mortgage loans that are arranged entirely between the borrower and the lending institution is a conventional loan. A private loan would be with a private person. A conventional loan is with a lending institution. Thank you, Laura. You know what's great about having hair like this? When I wash it, it actually dries before I get out of the shower. Number 68. One of the main advantages of FHA loan is that they very good. Require low down payments. Actually, I do save money on shampoo. I actually do use shampoo though, Michelle, because there is something up there. 69. At what time must lenders provide the Your Home Loan Toolkit to prospective borrowers? All right, I need you guys to read the question again. Most of you getting this wrong. At what time must, it's not capitalized, must lenders provide the Your Home Loan Toolkit to prospective borrowers? Answer's B. Remember, it comes with the loan estimate. The LE comes with it 3 days after you complete your application. You get the Your Home Loan Toolkit and also your loan estimate. 3 days after you apply, which really I believe is too late, but that's the way the law states it. Number 70, the New Jersey Housing and Mortgage Finance Agency offers favorable mortgage terms to home buyers who purchase homes in dun-dun-dun-dun. And by the way, when the state offers these MFAs, as they call them, jump on it because they don't last a long time and the state runs out of money pretty quickly. And they don't happen very often, especially with a state that really is not making any money. All right, so the answer is B, urban target areas. Number 71, the lender's preparing to close a loan for $395 so the buyers can purchase their first home. In this situation, what must the lender provide 3 days prior to closing? You guys weren't listening to me before. What must the lender provide 3 days prior to closing? Oh, Cassiana, the answer is 2. Just kidding. I know, that's obnoxious, right? The difference is after the loan application is made and 3 days prior to closing. It's 2 different things. That's why. It's two different parts of the mortgage. All right, so the answer to 71 is C. Closing disclosure, the CD. Remember, some of you answered home loan toolkit and loan estimate. But that comes 3 days after the application is made. The closing disclosure is the one that you get just prior to closing, so the buyers and sellers know what their costs are going to be at closing. 72. Which of the following is an example of a second mortgage? The answer is A. Home equity loan. Reverse mortgage is a first mortgage. Purchase money mortgage is a first mortgage, and construction loan is not a second mortgage. Home equity loan is the best of the answers. 73. What does RESPA Section 8 do? Okay, so HUD is like a closing. It's like a closing disclosure, Nick, but it's not used in home purchases. HUD statement is closing costs in a home equity loan. It's a closing cost that's used in a reverse mortgage, whereas the closing disclosure is just for initial home purchases. Did that help? I hope. Yeah, it's used for commercial loans too. Correct. Very good. Agnieszka. Did I pronounce that right? Love the names. I did. Wow. And she even winked at me. All right. So the answer to 73 is D. Prohibits kickbacks to real estate licensees for referring business to lenders and title companies. Okay. RESPA doesn't allow, you can prepay your federally rated loans. It has nothing to do with RESPA. Escrow accounts for their buyers. That's not Section 8. So you guys got to read that's why 21 and is very important to read. Unit 21. All right, 74. Mortgage lenders make many loans with the intention of selling them on the corner with Tony kneecaps. Hey, did you guys watch Queen's Gambit yet? It was so good. That was my New Year's Eve with my wife. We watched the Queen's Gambit. It was really good. Watch it, Jacqueline. Oh, The Crown's good? Okay. Cobra Kai just came out with their 3rd season. All right, so the answer to 74C, secondary market. That's where they sell your loans to. Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and Ginnie Mae. Oh, you're talking about, Queen's Gambit has a 2nd one coming out? Okay, I have to watch that. Right now I'm watching Taken. I'm going to watch Cobra Kai. That's my workout. I watch like an hour show during my morning workouts. All right, 75. Mortgage loans for a very high amount of money is referred to as, used to play for the Giants and the Jets. Yeah. Well, you guys, now you're telling me you're not studying. So, you wonder why 31% is the passing rate. You just gave it away. See how I set you guys up? And don't say, yes, Jumbo Elliott. And don't say, well, I was reading while I was watching. 75 is jumbo loans. Correct, Jumbo Elliott. 76. Lender offered rate lock to the borrowers. What is the purpose of a rate lock? What's the purpose of CREP lock? Yeah, let me see you do the crane. Thank you. You know CREP lock. Where are what answers, Trinidad? The answers to Cobra Kai? The answers are in the chat. I'm putting the answers in the chat. Can you see the chat? All right, so the answer to 76 is B. Oh. Why don't you have the chat? Does anyone else not have a chat? You might have to do a different layout then, because I can't help you with that. Yeah, it was good. Okay, I didn't see the new season yet. Okay. Everyone tell Steve how it ends. No, don't do that. 77 qualifying ratios are used by lenders to determine a borrower's. And for extra credit, can someone tell me what the qualifying ratios are? No. Who said that? 28 and that's right, Sammy. 28 and 36. 28. No. Nope. Required. Nope. It is the qualifying ratios are. Well, let me tell you the answer in a second when you guys finish answering it, and then we'll explain it to you. Yes, correct, Allison. Correct. In other words, the answer to this question, by the way, is D, maximum monthly payment for housing expense. So when you do not have recurring obligations like a car payment or high credit card debt, they qualify you looking at your income and saying that 28% of your income is what you can afford for principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. If you have recurring obligations, then they say that you can qualify for 36% for a mortgage for principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. So they take your income, monthly income, they subtract out they take out 36%, and they subtract out the car payment and the student loan. And what's left is what you can qualify for principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, or your housing expense. Hopefully that helped. Now, FHA loans actually have higher qualifying ratios. Some of them can go up to 42%. I've seen some up to 48%, but for test purposes, remember 28 and 36. Number 78, the location of a particular property and people's preference to particular locations is called. Good for you, Caroline, 40%. You must be special. Ha, you are. You're Caroline, you're special to me. You should see me do a live class. Much better than sitting. I don't sit at all in a live class. So this is kind of hard for me. Hopefully we'll go live soon. Are you going to be with me on Saturday? I meant live, like in a classroom. You know, like I can pick on you guys and really pick on you. I don't mean live like I'm alive, yes. All right, so the answer to 78 is C, situs, where the property sits. Remember, it's all about location, baby. Are there any class sessions on Tuesday nights? I'm not sure, Karen. You have to really look at the schedule. I think the classes are Monday, Wednesday, and Friday evenings, or Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday evenings. I'm not sure. But I know they have classes are 7 days a week with this school. The present worth of future benefits arises from ownership of real property is called. Right, one of my favorite chapters is appraisals. I don't know why, but it's a lot of fun. I know it's pretty sick. Being a real estate nerd that I am. Oh, good. I need some more of you to answer this question. Present worth of future benefits arises from ownership of real estate is called. Present worth of future benefits. It's known as value. It's A. So remember this line. Cost is to the past, price is to the present, values to the future. Oh, good. Good, Janine. Good luck to you. You got that? Cost is to the past, price to the present, and value to the future. This is the way to try to remember all about appraisals and pricing and so forth. All right, number 80. The principle of maximum value of property tends to be set by the cost of purchasing another is called. Several of you are going to have to read this chapter over. And you guys better not be in my class. So the answer to 80 is A, substitution. The principle that the maximum value of property tends to be set by the cost of purchasing another is called substitution. So when you have two like properties, one is 400, the other is 375. Which one sells first? You're going to substitute the 400 one to purchase the 375 one, correct? Yes, it's supply and demand is going to bring you that point, but supply and demand is not what this is part of. FYI, I've only completed chapters 3 and 5. Today is my first day. Well, welcome. So chapter on appraising. Oy. I have to look it up. Whoa, I almost fell off my chair. My chair broke, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm going to have to fix it. I'm going to stand up for now. You can see me standing. It's about time I stood. And fix my chair. So funny. I'm so excited about being with you guys. Unit 16. I'm fixing my chair. My wheel came off. Isn't that funny? Ha ha! My New Year's resolutions, I guess, is I should to lose some weight. Although I'm not really fat. Just have a crappy chair. Okay. Number 81. Market value presupposes an arm's length transaction, which means that it is done. We're going to have to move a little faster. Answer is B, between two strangers. That's what that means, arm's length transaction. Number 82. Quick approach to value is most often used by brokers and salespeople when helping sellers, not setters. Sellers set prices for the residential real estate. That would be sales comparison approach. All right, so 81 was B. 83. External obsolescence. It's caused by factors not on the subject property, so it is almost always The answer is D. It's incurable. It's not irrelevant. It's very relevant. A factory closes in the neighborhood, and everybody that lives in that area work for the factory. External obsolescence, you can't cure it, but it affects the pricing. That's all right. Was I blinding you, Jacqueline? I don't think you want to see my face anyway. Number 84, a license or certificate is required to perform. Answer's A, a real estate appraisal, any real estate appraisal. Number 85, an investor cannot usually sell real estate quickly without taking some sort of loss. Making real estate an investment that is not, again, this is based on the market. I also see people making money on their house that they bought a year ago because the market's gotten so crazy. But nonetheless, you guys are getting this. It's D, highly liquid. Selling a home is not highly liquid. 86. The object of owning income property is to generate spendable income, usually referred to as cash flow is correct. Number B. Number B. Letters 87 is an investor's initial cost for real estate is referred to as crap at my desk. Answer's D. It's the basis. It's not equity. Equity is the difference between what you owe and what your home is worth. A basis is what you paid for the home, where you initially paid for the home. 88. In the sale of a business, the Bulk Transfer Act protects the let's put the number first. We on 88. This protects the creditors of the seller. The creditors of the seller. So when the seller sells to the buyer, the creditors don't get stiffed for what money that they are owed. 87 is D. Did I put B? If I put B, I meant D. Yes, I put D. I should have put D. I'm sorry. 87 is D. All right, guys. Okay. Slip of the finger. 89. Investors in real estate investment trusts take advantage of the same tax benefits as answers D, hedge fund, like mutual fund investors. Real estate investment trust is more like a mutual fund than actually income property. Even though 75% of the investment is real estate, it's not completely of all real estate. Who can tell me what's the minimum number of people that can be in a REIT? Anybody know that? That's how I test to see if you're actually listening. Correct, Isabel. 100. Excellent. All right. Which of the following concerns would not be important to planning board as it considers a new subdivision? It should be automatic answer. And it's obviously not for everybody. Answer is A, racial composition. 91, in planning a subdivision, a subdivider drafts a map of the development that shows the location and boundaries of the individual properties. The map is known as a the same name as a politician, a TV politician. Oh my God, I have so many. Answer is A, plat. Plat map, not a survey. Remember, surveys is really for one particular property. A plat map has several lots and blocks on it. 92, the minimum lot size in a subdivision and the population density are usually established by zoning ordinances. A subdivider can put minimums, but it's the town that actually is the minimum. Survey what, Viviana? A survey will do a particular parcel. A plat map does an entire subdivision. 93, which of the following is not a legal description of land? So the answer to 93 is C. Government survey is a legal description of land. Remember townships and sections? Meets and bounds where there's a point of beginning and it ends at the point of beginning. And a plat map is lot and block numbers. 94, through which deed does a grantor covenant that they have done nothing to encumber the property while it was in their possession, but not extending back to all previous owners? And which one of those are used in Jersey? It'll be the same answer. You guys got to read your deeds. It's almost equal with all answers. Really like close. Answer to 94 is actually B. Bargain and sale deed with covenants against Grantors Act. A warranty deed warrants the property for back to all previous owners. Remember, that's the strongest deed. A quick claim deed is one where it's a deed where you're either taking off a name or it's stopping a gap in the title. And a covenant deed is really is a deed that's more of a semi-warranty deed. And else I can put it. 95, which type of deed provides the grantee with the least protection of any deed? The least protection. What the heck is a covenant deed? I don't know what that is. There's no such thing as a covenant deed. Okay. Quitclaim deed is correct. See, 96 in New Jersey, a deed will not be accepted for recording unless it contains. Read the question. A deed will not be accepted for recording unless it contains the. Correct. I looked it up. There is no such thing as a covenant deed. There's covenants in a deed. Those are the restrictions. So the answer to 96 is D, acknowledgement. You know, when a notary acknowledges, because the county cannot record it unless it's been notarized. A corporation can convey real estate only upon answer is D. Resolution passes by the board of directors. Can't wait for 2/3 of the shareholders, especially when it's a big corporation. It's the board of directors that really control everything. 98, a partition proceeding, the form of involuntary alienation in which B. Co-owner seeks to force another to divide the sale of property. This does it during partnerships, remember? When a partner doesn't want to have ownership anymore and the other ones want to agree to buy from them, they can partition them to sell the entire property. The legal process by which a court determines who will inherit the property of a deceased person is called. So the answer is probate. It's A. It's not intestate. What does intestate mean? Intestate means someone that dies without a will. But all wills are all properties or all wills are probated or non-wills are probated to determine who gets the property. There are companies out there that actually troll probate courts. And then they get the names of the owners of those people who inherited property but may be out of state, and they actually will refer those people to real estate agents. You're going to be, once you start selling real estate, you're going to be solicited by people selling you leads and other things, or services. And one of them is those who troll probate courts. Matter of fact, there's a company out there, I forget the name of it, but if you pay them almost $600 a month, they'll send you leads from probate court. It's like being hearse chasers. 100. In New Jersey, the duty to investigate the title of property can be conveyed belongs to the what Latin word would you use for this question? Why is there an audio file? Yep. 100, but what's it in Latin? Caveat emptor, that's right. Who wrote that? Michelle. Okay. Very good. So the answer is A, caveat emptor, the purchaser. The title insurance required by lenders protects the interest of the answer's in the question.
Isn't that public knowledge?
Finally, you got a class that actually answers almost all of you are right. Lender, read the question. The title insurance required by lenders protects the interest of the lenders. Closing a real estate transaction generally involves two closings. One is the closing of the real estate sale in which the deed is delivered in exchange for the purchase price. The other is the closing of the correct B, the purchaser's loan or the buyer's loan. 103, RESPA was created to ensure that the buyer and the seller on residential real estate transaction have knowledge of all C, settlement costs. Very good. Once you got that right. It's all the settlement costs, which includes prorations, existing liens, and tax liabilities. So settlement costs, so RESPA includes everything, not just parts of it. The other A, B, and D are parts of the settlement costs. 104. Sorry, I went on my phone. At closing, a seller swears, I swear that he or she has not had a judgment, bankruptcy, filed for divorce, or taken any action that could cloud title through N. Affidavit of title. The answer is D, affidavit of title. 105. Which of the following items is a credit to the buyer at closing? If seller does that through the LLC on, can you go after him personally? Probably not. You probably have to go after the LLC. That's why they create LLCs. But then that's an attorney question. And even though I play one on TV, I'm not an attorney. That's why people go into LLCs, so that the risk is only on the LLC. Oh, see, I don't know that stuff. You must be one of those corporate readers. All right, so the answer is, what's the credit at closing to the buyer? It's the earnest money. Fuel on hand will be a debit to the buyer because that's already been paid for by the seller. Prepaid water charge is a debit to the buyer because that's already been paid by the seller. Real estate tax paid in advance is a debit to the buyer because it's already been paid by the seller. Debit's what you owe, credit's what you get. Yeah. Okay, thanks, Stephanie. See, she knows. She's the accountant in this group. 106. At a real estate closing, who's responsible for all the details that concern the title to the property? So the answer to this actually is, it befuddles me, but it's true. The answer to this is C. The seller's attorneys are responsible for the details in the title. Because remember, the seller prepares the title, not the buyer. The seller's attorney prepares the title. The buyer's attorney doesn't. They review the title and the details, but the seller's attorney is responsible to actually prepare it. All right, we finally have a math question, and these are very easy. If a broker is expecting to receive a 6% commission on the sale of a $250,000 home, what will the commission be? Title company, thank you. The title company does their title search. And that's where you get title insurance. That's the last chapter of the book. No, chapter 20 in the book. I want you guys to take your time doing this math. I want all of you to answer this. One thing you're going to learn is how to do commissions. You need to know how to do commissions, because once you start working in real estate agency, you're going to have these fees come out of there. You don't know where they're coming from. You need to understand your fees. I had an agent that called me today. He's been thinking about joining my team. He's been in the business forever. And I saw his fees come out of the company he's working for. The fees were crazy, but he didn't even understand them. Not because he's stupid, because he's not stupid, but because most real estate companies think that agents don't get numbers. Understand the commission, understand the fees that come out, and fight for your commission. We're not allowed to use paper and pen or calculator for math questions or real tests. That's not true. You can use the system has a calculator, so you can use the calculator online. You know, they have like a calculator. And yes, you can use a piece of paper. You have to be able to use a piece of paper. There's no way that, I mean, this is simple, but there's no way you can't not. All right, so you guys did pretty well on this. No, what they do is they have a calculator on the computer. So you can't use your phone. You can't even have your phone around. Matter of fact, when you take this school test and the state test, they have this proctoring system which watches you. You have to pan your room that you're in, so you have to have a camera. And then there's actually a ring around your head that they have that can see whether or not you've moved. And if you move too many times, they will know that and they will time you out. And guess what? You're out of the test, which means you're going to have to take it again and spend another $45. So you better go to the bathroom before you take your test or have a cup in your hand. Yeah, Jacqueline, if you go there on the testing site, yes. But if you don't go to the testing site, then they keep an eye on you. They say going in person is much better because no bathroom breaks, Steve. So I hope you're not over 50. Yeah, in person's actually pretty good. All right, so the answer to 107 is D. Here's a calculation. 250 times 0.06 equals 15,000. Some of you put 7,500. I'm trying to figure out why you did that. They didn't ask what you were getting. They were asking what the total commission was. All right, a lot measuring 240 by 400 selling $400 per front foot. What is the price? I might need more of you to answer this one. No, they're not, Caroline. They're not horrible. So here's the secret for math. Everything must be apples to apples, oranges to oranges. You know what I mean? Feet to feet, yards to yards, square yards to square yards, cubic feet to cubic feet, months to months, days to days, especially when it comes to prorations. See, so front foot is measured, so a property is measured by front by depth. Front foot is always the first number. Here, I'm speaking Martian. Well, I could be Mork from work. So here it is. Let's see if this works. Okay. Okay, so it's 240 by 400. This is front foot. Price of land is based on front footage. Got it? That should make this easier for you guys. So if land is $400 per front foot, and the front foot is 240, what's the price? All right, looks like you guys have ended. So 74 of you have answered. The rest of you just gave up. Answer is D. 240 front footage times $400 because it's $400 per front foot comes to $96,000. All right, here's a good one. 109. If frontage of a half-acre lot is 100 feet, how deep is it? I think the Bee Gees sang that. Repeat what, Stephanie? The last thing? Sure. So if front footage is 240 and the price of the land is $400 per front footage or per front foot, it's 400 times 240. Caroline, do you know what an acre is? How many square feet is an acre? Well, that wouldn't help you. Yes. Look what Stephanie put. Look what Fabrizio put, 711. Thank you, Betty. All right, so so Caroline, it's an acre is 43,560 square feet. Hopefully that helps. And how do you remember it? 711. 4 plus 3 is 7. 5 plus 6 plus 0 is 11. So now read the question again. If the front footage is a half acre, lot is 100 feet, how deep is it? Yeah, we don't do them much in any of the classes. I'm not very good at a math teacher myself. But I tried going to math during the chapters instead of going into the math chapter. And then we do the math problems at the end of each one of them. You know, the class that I'm teaching, that like appraisals, we do some math, and mortgages, we do math. So we go to the back of the book and do the math questions. But I don't actually do the math chapter. There's a lot of things that we try to go over. It's pretty intense 4 hours, right? I think I feel. None of you guys have said anything. I've been talking the whole time. What have you guys been doing? You've been talking to your family members, you're eating lunch, you're eating your dinner, because no one can see what you're doing. You might not even be wearing pants. I don't know. How would I know? I'm wearing pants, by the way, but you're probably in your pajamas. Okay, so guess, Rita, but you shouldn't have to guess. Think about it logically. Think about your geometry class. Christmas chocolate. Oh, Michelle, you're killing me here. We look like we have a mathematician in the group too. Agnieszka is the mathematician of the group. Can you explain, Lucy? Yeah. All right, so you guys ready? All right, so the answer is B. An acre is 43,560 square feet, 711. You divide that by 2 because the question is a half acre. The lot is a half acre. So you break it down to half the acre, which is 21,780. The lot is 100 feet wide. The front footage is 100 feet. So you have to divide that by 100 to get to the 218. Because if you go the opposite way, 218 times 100 is what a half acre lot is, 21,780. Does that help? But you have to break it down to half acre to feet. Kinda, sorta. The biggest thing about math is not the math, it's the fear of math. You got to know math because you know when you're out there trying to take listings, it's not, oh, we're going to do this great marketing and blah blah blah. You have to have numbers in your head. The reason why I think your house is worth this in this range is because of this. Looking at 4 bedrooms versus your 3 bedroom or this or that. So you got to have numbers in your head. Not just for commissions, but people want numbers. It's not about like HGTV that you're showing 3 houses and you make a sale. Correct. Very good. Look at what was just said. All right, last question. Woohoo! A man purchasing a house for $325. His lender requires 20% down and payment at 2 points at closing. The man is also responsible for $2,000 worth of closing costs. What is the total amount of money he needs to close? Take your time with this. Your pencil and paper. You also get questions from your buyers and sellers. What am I going to net? Right after all my expenses, or approximately what am I going to net? I'm looking to buy a house, and I have 30,000 to put down, and I want to mortgage 180,000. What's that going to cost me per month? Do you guys know how to figure that out? You should. You're going to get questions about it. I'm thinking of selling my home. I owe so much money. Can you tell me what it's going to be? You need to have those answers. You need to know math. It's simple math, but you need to know math. So if you guys are interested, if you have Saturday, I teach 9 to 3. I'm doing appraisals and financing. If you want to join us, there's definitely a lot of math in the appraisal part of it. So you're invited to come to my Saturday class if you have nothing else to do. And what else can you do? You already saw Cobra Kai. You already saw the Queen's Gambit. There's really nothing else for you to do in this life. Okay, so I need a couple more of you to answer it. You got 1 minute because then it's 10 o'clock. What is the answer? This Saturday, yes. Is that exciting? Quarantine in class. No, I don't. I'm not an appraiser, Melissa, so I don't do an appraisal class. We just happen to be covering the appraisal chapter. I'm doing 15 and 16. But check the schedule just to make sure. All right, so your minute is up. It is now 10 p.m. The answer to this question is B. $72.2. Here's the calculations. First thing you have to figure out, it's $325 what they're purchasing for, right? But they're putting 20% down, which is $65,000. There's 2 points on the loan. So you're taking the loan of $260 multiplying by 0.02, because that's the points, which is 5,200. So you have the $65,000 down, the 2 points of 5,200, and the extra closing costs of 2,000. So your closing costs are going to be 72.2 at closing. You got it? Get it? Go home. You're welcome, Nick. Have a great night, everyone. Hope this helped a little, and hope to see you guys again. See you around, Caroline. Caroline. Good, Latonia. Appreciate it. I'm glad it was. Okay, Manuel. You're welcome. Because there's 2 points, Lana. Each point is 1% of the mortgage. That's